Opening weekend in the NFL. It's here, and of course, it all gets underway on Thursday with the Super Bowl rematch between the Broncos and Simeon against the Panthers and Nugent. Cam's got a little bit for them, I think, and we'll see if the Broncos can do what they did to him in the Super Bowl. Will be intriguing to watch what transpires. Ken Trahan, along with Brian Alley Walsh, Ricky Jackson, sportsNOLAtv. So opening weekend is here. Let's go to our player first because, Ricky, I wanted to get your take on what opening day is like for an NFL football player. Everybody points to opening day in baseball. It's a long season. You got all the banners and all the bunting and all the ceremony. What about the opening day in the NFL as a player?
Well, you want to get started off on the good feet, Ken, because first of all, people are going to remember that open day. You go out there and get your 3-4 sacks and win the game and look good, you know what I mean, they're going to remember that the rest of the season. So, and one thing about the Broncos, like, you know, they coming off a Super Bowl. Everybody, they got a bullseye on them. Everybody want them. And they haven't really played their defense. I mean, you know, you look at both of the pass rusher, they haven't even played this season. I'm looking at them last week. They was on the sideline. You know, they haven't even got out there yet to perform, you know, in preseason. So, you know, that lets you know that they coming to try to think that they can automatically win it again. So that's why they're keeping the guys healthy. So, but the first game is always the most important game for us getting off on the right feet.
3 games, Kenny. Obviously, Thursday night's game matches last year's Super Bowl participants, Denver and Carolina. Okay, obviously that's right out of the gate on Thursday night. But there's 2 games on Sunday, Giants and Dallas. I think they're Sunday, might be Monday night. Giants, Dallas, and New England, Arizona. Now those are 4 teams. The New England, Arizona. Those are both Super Bowl contending teams. Obviously, the interest is there. Dallas with Dak Prescott as the rookie quarterback, and that game, what it means. The implications it brings to the NFC East. So those games, but I'll tell you what, New Orleans and Oakland is an interesting intra-conference game that's really got my interest as well.
Well, week 1 is very important. We saw the numbers earlier about a predictor for the Saints making the playoffs. And, you know, listen, when you talk about week 1 and how important it is, I got to show you that it's got to be everything for you to focus on it, because if you don't, you're going to lose down the road. Very difficult to get to the playoffs if you don't win early on. And the numbers simply reflect that across the board. As you look at the week 1 winners, 52% reach the playoffs. Now, this is since 1978. 31% plus have won division titles. Week 1 losers, check this out. 24% make the playoffs. Guys, that is no lie. Right. And then less than 14% win a division title. And Ricky, I think that illustrates your point because it sets the tone for the season. You've had a whole training camp, you've had a whole preseason, you've had a whole offseason to prepare for this one game to show who you really are. Just like LSU, which we'll get into in just a bit. And then if you go out there and you lay an egg, chances are you're not what you thought you were and you're going to struggle.
And then the thing about it too is some teams they're so poor in the playoffs, like they ain't won any games and stuff. They trying to think that now the regular season jump, you know, what kind of team we got? You know, we didn't play good in the preseason, so we got to turn it on in the regular season. So it's gonna be a struggle for some teams to turn the switch on.
Well, do those numbers surprise you at all, Brian?
Very much so, Kenny. It shocked me, in fact, and it does illustrate your point. Is that they have to come out and play, you know, balls out, so to speak, from week 1. And I think that's why Peyton wanted to get his first team in there and offense and get some momentum going. Even though, you know, the 4th preseason game is kind of a meaningless game, right? But it's important that they get in the right frame of mind and carry that over into the regular season. And so those stats point out how important it is to get off on a good start.
I need to ask you this question seriously, since I was going to bring up New England, Arizona is one of the games I'm watching. The balls in the bag you were talking about, are they inflated?
Yes, good one, my friend. Well, you know what? We got to check that out. No,
okay.
that's old. That's last season, before last.
But it isn't. But it isn't because New
right.
England has to play without Tom Brady
to
start the season against Arizona. And Garoppolo gets the ball. And Ricky, they got 4 games without Brady. If New England's going to be a serious contender to make it back to the Super Bowl, how many games are they going to have to win of those first 4?
Well, they need at least go win 2 of them.
Right.
I mean,
I
because
agree.
Arizona will be tough to beat.
Everybody
know that. I mean, I look at Arizona last night. I was just checking them out. You know, got the NFL package that where you can keep looking at them over. And they got a great team. They putting a great team out there. They got a great running game too. I mean, he got some running backs out there, and they got some great receivers. So Arizona will be tough to beat.
Last week on this show, I mentioned that I thought Minnesota was a genuine contender to win the NFC. Later that day, we learned Teddy Bridgewater has a catastrophic injury, and the Vikings go out and make a bold deal. I think bold's the right word, a first-round pick and a fourth-round pick for Sam Bradford, who's had trouble standing upright in the league. And a lot of people ripped him to shreds, and I understand why. But Brian, I also understand why they made the. They are a good enough team to get there if they have a good enough quarterback, and there really wasn't anybody else out there. So I get it.
No, and I'll tell you what, you've got to applaud Minnesota for doing it. It shows you where they think they are in their program right now. They feel like they're a really contender for the NFC Championship. I don't blame them at all.
No, they should have beat Seattle last year. They gave that game away, basically. But Ricky, I mean, this deal, they gave up a little bit too much, but you can understand why.
Well, I mean, I just gave about a second round. I don't think I would have gave up a first and a fourth. They could have got Sanchez for a little nothing too, you know what I mean? So, but
Bradford, Sanchez, I don't know. There's a lot of, the quarterbacks in general, there's a lot of interesting stories around the league this year with first-year quarterbacks, unproven quarterbacks, guys that are trying to redeem themselves like a Bradford, like a Sanchez. So a lot of great storylines.
Then there's Dak Prescott, who gets the ball in Dallas by necessity.
And I think really, I mean, he's jumping in a great situation. I mean, he got a good offensive line that can protect him where he can really, he's a big boy. He can run, and he can look downfield with the ball. So he's in a great situation. Then Dez Bryant now, believe it or not, those guys love this quarterback. So he is in a great situation.
How about the running back they have too?
Yeah, they got a good running back. We're going to find out pretty quickly about the division with Tampa Bay and Atlanta. How improved are the Buccaneers with Winston in his second year? Are the Falcons any better? We'll find out soon enough. It is time now for our sportsNOLA.com trivia question of the evening. With LSU and Tulane losing their openers, the Saints need a win Sunday over the Raiders to avoid all three teams opening 0-1. Question: when was the last time all three area teams lost their season openers? There's a real difficult question for you. Take the break to figure out when it was. We'll have the answer coming back when we talk about the LHSAA and John Curtis on our Hot Seat segment as Sports NOLA TV continues on WHNO TV 20.